Okay, everybody, listen. You gotta know that I read my comments, right? I got a little get back from that though too. Listen, today you already seen the thumbnail, so you know we're doing a seafood boil in the bag, right? But the reason I say I got a little comeback on that, if you guys use my channel and you go there, there's a search button on there. You can look and see this is probably like the 6th or 7th time that I made this, throughout my journey, right? Only thing I think that when I do is, now that I'm making these videos, I think you guys got to let me know down in the comment section below. Am I getting better at, like explaining? But with that being said, you know what we doing? Again, it's a seafood boil in the bag, and we finna get it. Okay, so look, I'm gonna tell you this. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and preheat this oven, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and hit my bake. We're gonna use a standard 350, and then I hit start. All right, so as always, we getting ready to go over our ingredients, right? But I want to tell you guys this too. If you look over here, look on my actual stove, right? I got my water. I'm starting to I'm starting to bring my water, bring it up to a boil, right? So before we even go over these ingredients, I'm gonna take 2 of these out. This is my Creole kick, and this right here is my garlic powder. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and just add this to my water. This is essential. Since we already, preheating our oven, we might as well start getting things going. This is how it is really, you wanna multitask, right? The way I do my videos and the way I explain them, I give you guys like one by one. But now I think that for those who've been watching me for a minute, it's time to like level up, the pace. Now, if you guys come on under here, let's go over the rest of these ingredients, right? And when I say go over, it's really like a flyover so you guys can see. As you can see, we got corn. I'm gonna cut these corns down. Each one of these is gonna be 3, right? Then obviously these are the lobster tails. How many of y'all like them lobster tails? Hey, I picked these up from Costco, got them at a great price. And then over here, you got an assortment of, seasonings. Obviously, these are garlic cloves, red chili flakes. We got Creole kick. We got some chili sauce right here. Look, all of this come into play. We got potatoes, gotta have chicken stock. Lemon, we gotta keep it fresh, folks. Eggs, and then right there, I call this the star even over the top of the, as far as having the lobsters, right? Everybody like that crab leg. And what I want to show you is, you see how big these are? We're not going to put them in the bags like that. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this down. I'm going to show you guys how it is. We're going to get that ooh-wee presentation and all of that. But listen, check out Costco. I'm telling you, they got a great deal on these lobster tails. Now, if you look over here, we got, shrimp. You guys are used to seeing me, cook with these shrimp. I just want you guys to look at the size of these. I mean, this is like decent, for some people to get like a decent mouthful of, shrimp. And then here we go, folks. Look at this right here. How many of y'all be using these? Now, the reason I don't, use them as much is because for me to get them locally, it always like some type of, you just got to catch them at the right time, or I got to like pre-order them. If I'm going to pre-order them, I order them live. If you guys didn't know, you can get crawfish live to your doorstep. Now, with all of these ingredients, don't forget the full ingredient list is on my website. That's Smokin and Grillin with AB.com, and that's WITAB.com. Then let's get it. All right, so look, after all of that I went over, man, I was quiet about this right here. I want you guys to pay attention to these right here. These are my seafood boil bags. Pull this out. Listen, I'll put a link, because I think I got these from Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description box so you guys can pick up some of these, or you can pick them up at your local grocery store too. All right, so now, look, my water, it's already boiling. I had to like go over there, take a look at it a minute ago because it started boiling over. Once you hit it with that Creole kick, it started getting a little bit foamy and all of that. But now that it has a chance to settle down, I adjust my temperature on the bottom. We good, right? So listen, we got red potatoes, and then we got these corn on the cobs. I'm gonna set this over here by me. Let's go ahead and get these set up. Now, this is what I do. I take this and I just put imaginary lines in this. And what I do is I cut this into them little niblets, right? You see that right there? You just want to cut it into thirds. Now, I'm going to talk about I don't know how you guys buy your red potatoes, but usually they come in like a little bag, right? When they come, you want to try to pick out all the ones that look about the same size. Why? Because we getting ready to get in here and boil. So if you come here, I mean, it's really nothing I can do. Some of these are a little smaller, you know what I mean? Some of these, I ain't got no choice but to just put them in here like that. Now, we already seasoned our water, right? We putting this in here, right? So once we got that in here, then I'm gonna add my corn. Let's go ahead and bring that in the gang. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so once I get everything in the pot, we got the corn and the potatoes in, right? Only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set myself a timer, right? I set myself a timer for like 7 minutes. You know what I mean? That's good. We'll just go with 7 minutes, and after that, then we're gonna add our eggs. All right, so listen, my first timer went off. What I'm doing is now, I'm gonna add these in here, and I use my little spider just to get them in here, just so I don't have to drop them in the bottom. Right now, you guys know how long it takes for the eggs to become hard boiled. I'm gonna set myself a timer, and we're gonna set it for, I'm gonna set it for about 12 or 13 minutes. Okay, so next we're gonna go ahead and, work on our andouille. We still gotta make a sauce, and then I gotta prep those, those lobster tails, right? So I'm gonna do it a little different. You guys are used to seeing me cut these down into like medallions, but nah, we're not gonna do it like that. We're gonna put these in there so people can enjoy these, so they'll be like this. You know what I mean? Look at that. Wouldn't you like to have one of these that's ready? This is what I do. I take my eggs out first, right? Because we're gonna set these off to the side, right? We're gonna set it all off to the side. But when you take these out, these not gonna go back in until a certain time, right? So I'll put these here. Now I'm gonna use this bowl here, and this will capture, my potatoes and my corn. You guys know you wanna what you would do is you wanna check to make sure your potatoes are done. Just take a toothpick and see where you at. They shouldn't be mushy, you know what I mean? But these times that I gave you, I think you in the game. Now, this is what we're gonna do. Listen, I went ahead and put some, heat under the bottom of here. I got a medium flame. Why? Because we're getting ready to work with the butter, right? So I got that going. First thing first, let's go ahead and add a stick of butter. Now, you guys can do it. I suggest, well, I don't even want to say that. That probably wouldn't be right. I start with a stick of, salted butter. You can do this with unsalted butter. For best results, salted works, but if you're watching your sodium intake, I suggest you go ahead and use unsalted butter, right? So we got one stick. All right, I want to hear that. I want to get this to melt first. Look, I'm gonna lower this down, my temperature down. I'm at a medium flame right now. Right, let's move this around. There we go. Notice I use my wok. I like the way the wok, everybody thinks that you got to use a wok just for like when you're making Asian dishes, especially when you're doing that rice, moving it around, need to open it up and all of that kind of stuff. The center of it, you don't. I like the fact that a wok is made the way it is, that I'm able to put something in here and it concentrates everything to the center, right? It's really the heat control, right? So we'll let this, go ahead and go, and continue to melt. Now I've already diced down my onions, as you guys can see. Next thing, once I put this in there, I'm gonna wait till this is completely melted. Then I'm gonna add my onion, and then I'm gonna go ahead and mince all of this. You guys can mince it, chop it, and all of that. I get some type of gratification by using my press. You know what I mean? But it's up to you how you want to do it. But I can tell you this, and I do want to say thank you to everybody that's been buying these presses. Like, they moving off the shelf. Now, we probably still got about 362 million more Americans need to get this. But other than that, it's my press, butter, and onions. All right, so I'm completely melted here. That's that full stick of butter. Now I'm gonna add my onions, right? Now we just want to soften these up. Then I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and start mincing. Okay, after your onions, they start to soften, that's good. I went ahead and minced these down just a little bit, the old fashioned way, but I got to be able to put that smile on my face, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here. Let's put it over here. I'm gonna just put it all right here. I'm gonna just introduce it all together at the same time. All right, so this is it here. Take my knife, we'll just add this right there on top. Now, because it's not really hitting the bottom of the pan and I don't have it super hot, you can look at my butter and tell, right? That everything is the temperature is just, man, I don't know what to say. Right now, do you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and deep fry it, folks, because I love this smell right here. Or should I say the aromatic that is kicking back. Yeah. And it doesn't take long either. Look at that. Can you imagine how this butter tastes? That's why we only put one stick of butter in here. Now we're gonna do this for only about 1 minute. You wanna just keep turning this around. I'm gonna let it settle because we're in the wok. It's nice and, centered. About 30 more seconds. And then watch what I'm gonna do. If you pay attention right here, listen, all of these, the rest of our seasonings is getting ready to go in there, including the chili sauce, right? Then we're gonna have the lemon. Notice how I got everything, lined up right here. And then after that, we're gonna add this. This is everything that's gonna go into this. Now, oh yeah, folks. Here we go. Let's go ahead and start adding our seasonings. Now I'm gonna check my flame underneath the bottom here. Get back down to medium. And we're gonna let this just, marry together. But you see that right there? You can see how we making that seafood boil sauce, right? All right, so now right here where I'm at, I'm gonna go ahead and add my lemon and let that cook for about 1 minute. So the reason why I'm doing this, because I'm trying to get it, super concentrated, right? So put this over here on the top like this, and let's go ahead and, I don't know why I had it pointing towards me. Right, we're gonna use the whole lemon. Let me say it this way, after hitting it with the juice of the lemon, and that's the whole lemon, now what we're gonna do is add the rest of our butter to it. Now let that cook for about 30 seconds. That lemon got a nice little taste to it, and it's strong. What we're doing is we're building a whole lot of flavor, right? So now we'll add that to it. I'll add this second one, and then we're gonna let this melt and infuse, and then after that, we're gonna come with our chicken stock. All right, so come here and take a look right here. That's the last of the little butter, right? So it's gonna melt, right? I'm gonna add a little bit of my olive oil here. That's just a 1/4 cup, right? We just add this to it. You can see as I started, churning this together, how it just continued on to melt real fast. Now I'm gonna raise this up just a little bit. My fire. Let me take a look at it. I'm coming back to a medium, right? Now we're gonna add, our stock to it. But look, you see where we're going now, folks? Now we're gonna need a little bit of this, so don't try to skimp on this portion right here. If anything you wanna do, you can add 1 more stick of butter. I mean, if you got to add anything, but what I wanna tell you is we gotta start trusting the process, folks. So the last thing we're gonna do is prep these. I cut these little fins off the bottom of them. Some of you guys don't even know what these are, because a lot of times when you pick them up, even at the like your local grocery store, this is already done. So it just be it depends on which ones you get to. But we're gonna cut all of these off. It just makes for the presentation to look better. And then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna cut these and put them in a bag. Now that everything is ready, our oven is up to 10. Our eggs have been boiled. We got our potatoes, our corn done, and we got our sauce ready. Now it's time to put them in the bag and hit that oven. So just stay with me. Let me just get this knocked out, and I'll hit you back in just 1 second. All right, so like I said, the only thing left to do is just to prep, right? There's nothing to do for the crawfish. Hey, how many of y'all call it crawfish, crayfish? Tell me the nicknames down in the comment section below. What do you guys call? Oh, I think my grandfather used to call them crawdads or something like that. You from Texas. Everybody got a name for them. All right, so look, you want to come here, you want to get yourself a sharp knife. This is the way I do this, right? So come on in here, take a look. Now, I take my knife and I hit it right here on this point back here. You hear that? Then I crack it. All I do is bring it like this. Remember, we just want to have a sharp knife, right? You can hear once you all the way through. Let me see, did I go back far enough? The reason I'm saying that, because we're going to split it in half, really. But I just want to show you this. Sometimes we do them like this, and I put them on a grill. I use this part like this, just giving you guys a heads up. Then when you see the little, crack pieces like that, obviously we're going to take them off. But for the sake of what we're doing today, we're finna hit it, cut that like that, and there we go. Now we're going to put these inside of one of them bags. Now, I'm going to be generous, folks. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to give each person each bag. Yeah, you'd say each person. You know what I mean? I'm still going to start like this. I'm going to do 4 halves. All right, so what I'm doing is just stirring this up, because everything that we put in there, anything that's like a large piece, a bigger piece than the, liquid, that kind of like settles down at the bottom, right? So I was just giving that a stir. Now, if you look right here, look, I got my lobsters, those are cut. I got my crawfish, and then we got our andouille, we got our corn, potatoes, snow crab, and then we got our, our hard-boiled eggs. Now look, when it comes to the hard-boiled eggs, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't put them in until the very, very end. And I'm gonna, you don't need to have these in here. Oh, and then we got our shrimp, right? So now we're finna go ahead and start our assembly. Now, oven safe bag. We'll just put this right here. Let me bring my snow crab. I usually start with this down at the bottom, because they long, and then look how big my bag is, right? So we're gonna do it like this. It depends on how many bags you are, how generous you are, determines, and how much, crab legs you have, determines what you're gonna do and what you're gonna put in there. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and put these in here like this, and then I might give somebody a bonus piece. I don't know about y'all, but I do like the cloth. right? So we got that there. Now just think, once we pour our liquid in here, we want everything down on the bottom. So for me, I want my shrimp to go in right now, you know? So it's up to you how much you want to do it. This is the part that really is determined by what you want to do. You can look at the ingredients you have and you can go from there. You know what I mean? For me, I'm gonna try to get 4 bags, 3 good bags for the amount of everything that I have, and then we go from there, right? So look, this is what we got. You guys can see it through here, right? So right now we got shrimp and we got snow crab legs down the bottom. All right, next I'm gonna go ahead and add my lobster tails, right? Now what I'm doing is I'm building these, individually. I'm just doing this one right here where you can see. I'll step off a camera and do, build the rest of them, right? But look, this is how we doing it. And I want to be honest with you, there's no particular order. I just always, one thing I never change is I always start with my snow crab legs down on the bottom. Other than that, you can throw this in here any kind of way you want to. Now, if I'm gonna get 3 or 4 bags out of this, then I just divide out, what I have, right? So let's get this open like that. Now we add the crayfish, crawfish, crawdads, or whatever, right? So we'll get those in there now. Here's the thing. Some of you guys are saying, I don't do crawfish or I can't get it or whatever. If you can't get this, don't worry. You don't have to have that in there. But please tell me you got the lobster on. You got the lobster and the shrimp, right? And you're gonna need these. And if you ain't ever had eggs dipped in this right here, you missing out. All right, so if you come here, you take a look at this right here. This is a little bit more than what you would get if you go somewhere. This is how it would be if you came here with me. Of course, I got it. When you go out, you get something that's full like this, and we ain't even put the rest of it in here. There is a charge with it, but at least you want to get all the food, and you can have some, save some for later, right? So the next thing I'm gonna do is just get myself a handful of, this andouille sausage and just add that to it. Right, now I got plenty of that, and then we're gonna go ahead and add this corn, right? So let me just see where we at with this corn, So I'll probably just add 4 under the corn. And then the rest is self-explanatory. We're finna pour that into this. Now, one of the key things I'm gonna tell you is, because this is like heavy, everything, all of the solids that went down to the bottom, you wanna give this a stir right here. All right, then you know what? I almost forgot about these potatoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of these in here, right? So everybody likes the potatoes. All right, so look, I'm just using my 1 cup measuring cup. I'm just gonna go out here and get my sauce out. Right, now it's starting to look like what you guys see come to your tables, right? For me, it looked like what I make at the house, throughout. The crawfish is just like a little bit of a change, but we don't have that often. Now, I'll put all of that in there like that. This is gonna render a little bit of seafood, down at the bottom and everything. I wanna put a little bit more in here because I like to see it on the bottom. Right, and then what we do is we do this for all the bags. Okay, so as you can see, look, all of them done. They all sealed. You know what I mean? That's cool. I got a little bit of the air out. You want to get about this much is cool. It's gonna steam, right? If you want to know why I got this one separate, because this is my bag, folks. Now, when you come over here and look at these two, these are the ones I'm gonna give. You know what I mean? But I put a little something extra on the things that I like inside of that one. Now, I am doing 4 bags, but I'm gonna have to do a little something. Something ain't gonna be in the other. Now, if you look right here, remember we had these eggs, right? So this is what we're finna do. We're finna take these eggs, because we got a little sauce left, and I'm just gonna put them right here. These don't go in the bag right now. We want these to absorb that. All right, so we'll just put these in here just like you see, folks. Got those soaking, 350 degrees. Now we put these in here. Now I'm looking at this right now. That tells me I'm gonna have to do some adjustment. Meaning, let me just see. Let me just show you what I heard. I should have looked at this earlier. We got to do some type of adjustment. This ain't gonna fit in there like that. So let me adjust my racks. I'll be right back. All right, bagged up. What I did was I had to end up, running both of my ovens, right? So both of them at 350. I got my racks adjusted. Now I'm gonna put this one in here like this. And you guys see why. I didn't want this to be up at the top, touching nothing like that. And then I'll put this last one down here like this. Now I'm gonna set a timer for about 17 minutes and they'll be ready. All right, so listen, timer went off. I take these out. You see I got these still in there. They're gonna kind of like steam. It'd be good for me to open these up. Now let some of it out. We don't want to overcook it, right? Or over steam it. Now, I'm gonna take this and just for the, for this camera purposes, that's why I left this tray underneath the bottom here. I'm just gonna dump this right here so you guys can see, This is what it looks like. Look at that right there. Now, if you look, you put them out here, keep a pan, because, you know, for all of our seafood boil, you know, the sauce that we made, we put it on there. I do give myself a little bit of a sprinkle over the top. Some of you guys are used to doing that when you have like I hate to say it, but y'all be using that Old Bay. I mean, you use whatever you want to use, you know what I mean? But I like to at least give it just a little bit of that on there. Now, you remember when I talked to you earlier and I said we add our, you know, eggs later? Why? Because you don't want them to be tumbling around in there when you take them and you pour them out or whatever. And they just keeps the integrity, and we had them sitting in some sauce, right? I'm gonna do right here. Let me go ahead and take a picture of this, and then I'll be right back at you folks, because it's time to eat. All right, so here it is. You know what I mean? I still got to take some more pictures of it, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna go ahead. It won't hurt it if I go ahead and eat, you know, one of my favorites, you know what I mean? Just like do the egg. Now, we got all of this seafood boil sauce down here, so I'm gonna go ahead and give me a little bit, you know what I mean? And cheers, y'all. All right. This right here is good. And the reason I'm getting this, because we about to knock this off. Look at that. I kind of like squeezed it and made like a little bit of a pocket. Cheers, y'all. Now this right here, this is done right. And I want you guys to try this and let me know, do you do it this way? Do you even use the bags, or do you do it all in the pot the way I used to do it? You know, I would take it and just spread it over the table, right? You know, do it the way like that's the way I was taught. But you know what? All of these restaurants now, they doing it right here in these bags. So I got down and did one in the bag too. As you can see, it's just a whole lot going on. This right here is nice. Now, these crawfish, I don't know. I know y'all like to take them, you know, break them across the top, hit it from the front, and then pull back. I don't do it like that. For me, I take it like this. I break that. I clean off anything that don't look right for me, right? Once I do that, then I go ahead and just use my thumb and kind of like just push the meat out. It's a lot of little work, you know, for a little bit of meat, but I'm telling you, the reward to me is good. You know what I mean? I love it. This one didn't really cooperate the way I wanted it to, but I got all the meat out of here. I take that, drop it in this sauce, and boom. Whew, that is fire. Okay, so I know some of y'all finna beat me up down in them comments and talk about that's not the way you do it, AB. You supposed to do this, pull from the head and do all that kind of stuff and suck and all that. All I can tell you is, for me to describe that, it ain't nothing but a bunch of pause. But anyway, look, I eat mine the way I like to eat mine. You guys do yours your way. You know what? Try this. If you never have tried it, now you got that seafood boil in your own kitchen. Hey, with that being said, let me know everything. And if you're new to my channel, let me just take this time to say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and tell everybody out there, check this one out. There's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And you know what I do. I usually walk off and hit you with the piece. This time I'm finna stand right here and I'm gonna hit you with the piece, because it's time to eat, folks. I'm out. Peace.